And we are live. What's up, guys? It's Garage Goons, the most trash show on YouTube. And word of advice to those of you who don't already know, never install McAfee on your computer, no matter what. Just don't do it. Anyways, here we are. I am here today. I've interviewed, some rappers, some artists, some photographers, some interesting people. And now I've told you my story, and martial arts was a big part of that story. So if you are interested in starting martial arts, if you're interested in starting MMA or boxing or Muay Thai or jiu-jitsu, um, you know, welcome to the family. Welcome to the mixed martial arts world. It's a great sport, and it teaches discipline. It'll force you to get into better shape than you've ever been in, because I'll tell you what, man, there's getting your ass kicked, and there's getting your ass kicked when you don't have any oxygen in your lungs left and you're fat and you're slow. It literally forces you to melt fat off of you for survival. It's a really great sport for losing weight or getting into better shape than you're already in, or if you want to gain weight and you don't have a whole lot of muscle, it's great for that too. Obviously, you should probably supplement that with like some lifting and maybe some putting some calories in. But I fell in love with the sport because there's more pure form of competitions, I think, like sprinting, for example. There's no mystery. It's just the fastest guy wins. That's it. There is judging in MMA, and there's other things that involve that kind of make it not a pure sport. But what I would say is that there is no higher form of dominance over an opponent than knocking them out or having the tap. Because dominating somebody in a fight is the ultimate form of just, establishing dominance. I mean, you can beat somebody in basketball, you can beat somebody in football, you can beat somebody in soccer, you can beat somebody in chess. But if the other guy you're playing gets pissed and knocks you out, the only thing people are going to talk about is the fact that you got knocked out, right? So there's a primal need, I think, especially in men, but like for a lot of people when they compete, to know that they're better than their opponent. And I think there is no mystery in MMA. And if you leave it to the judges, then that's a different conversation. But there's no mystery to MMA, and that's why I love the sport. Now, let's get into the things that you should expect. You should expect when you're walking into, I'm going to keep this focused on MMA because I don't want to get into the whole approach where, if you have a lot of resources and your parents are paying for you, and that's great. You can go to a jiu-jitsu gym, you can go to a boxing gym, you can go to a Muay Thai gym, you can go find a wrestling room somewhere, or ask your high school buddy to show you some stuff, or whatever. There's a lot of ex-wrestlers that got into judo and jiu-jitsu. Just gotta kind of ask them about it and go from there. But for keeping this video concise, I'm going to talk specifically about MMA. So we're going to encompass all of these things, and I'm assuming you're checking out an MMA gym. Okay. And the bigger the gym, the more programs they'll have. Like some MMA gyms will just have Muay Thai guys and just have boxing guys, and they'll have MMA. That's great. But most MMA gyms are just going to focus primarily on meat and potatoes stuff. Now, depending on your striking coach, he could come from a kickboxing background, which is totally fine. Could come from some sort of martial art centric background in striking, whether it's Taekwondo, which is great for kicks, karate, which is great for, I would say, footwork and being able to get in and out of engaging. But I would say the vast majority of the MMA community would agree that kickboxing / Muay Thai is kind of the stand-up accepted art that is meat and potatoes. You're going to learn how to punch, you're going to learn how to kick hard, and you're going to learn how to block, you're going to learn how to puree punches, which is like misdirecting them. You're going to learn how to feint, which is faking punches. You're going to learn how to Um, sorry, not I said faint. I meant feign. Hopefully you don't faint. That's kind of part of the deal too. You might get knocked out, but what you should expect going in is to work hard and to listen. And early on, if you are an overachiever and you just athletically um, are good at sports when you tried them out, especially as a kid, throw all that out the window. Because I will tell you, even if you are very gifted, you may spend 6 months to a year doing this and pass people up left and right. But nobody is going to walk into an MMA gym without a combat sports background, specifically in wrestling and jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, right? If you come in and you did Kempo karate when you're 12, or as an 8-year-old you did um, Taekwondo, you might have some base knowledge, but go in humble and go in expecting to learn some stuff, and also go in expecting to get your ass kicked. Okay. And if you don't want to spar, that's okay. You just need to let your sensei or coach know, hey, I'm here to learn. I'm here to get better. I'm here to get in shape. I don't necessarily want to compete. But listen, if you want to compete, you're going to have to spar. You can't enter the cage or the ring and experience combat for your first time. You have to know what it's like to get hit. And often, a lot of guys, when they come in, they're great athletes, but when they get hit, they clam up, they do this, they start shelling up. The guys that have been there a while will eat a punch in the face. And, if it was a good one, they'll smile, or they'll shake their head. Oh, no, that didn't affect me. And then they'll keep fighting. Other guys, you can see them when they get hit, they start to clam up. And God, every time, bro, every time there's a video, dude, it's fucking 12 at night, 11 at night, and there's a plane flying over. That's fucking Air Force One, of course. Okay, so, God, I can't record without a plane. I am so sorry, guys. So back to the point at hand. All right, expect to be humbled. Okay, I go into the gym, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, and get humbled. And I'm the biggest guy in the gym. Does that mean I suck? No. I'm not good, or I'm not fit to compete? No. What that means is there are certain things that when I train, I have openings. Everybody has openings. Everybody has a weakness. There's no MMA fighter in the history, or any combat sports fighter, that didn't get hit ever, or didn't get taken down ever. It just never happened. So I think what you need to do is accept that you're not going to be very good in the beginning. And that's normal. Some people go in with a lot of confidence, and it's good to have confidence, but arrogance is when you think just because you have been good at other things without experience that you'll be good at this thing. That is arrogance, because it's delusional. Fighting is different. Fighting is very different, guys. Some guys have a knack for it. Some guys have natural raw power. But I've seen some of the biggest, strongest, nastiest dudes fold when they take a punch, because they can give it, but they can't take it. Those are the guys that look great on the bag. They can hit the mitts. They look real good, but they never want to spar. It's because some guys just don't know how to deal with contact. You're going to get punched in the face. Okay. That's a part of the deal. If you want to compete, again, if you don't, then be very upfront about it. And some gyms are competition gyms, meaning they don't want you in there unless you're on a team trying to compete. Other gyms, like if you see a UFC gym, if you see, a jiu-jitsu centric gym, if you see whatever, most of them are just happy to have your membership. And, it's just good to learn. And, you will have more tools than the average person on the street if you are in a self-defense or fighting situation than other guys that even have done Taekwondo and other things. Like, you'll be more prepared, I would say. So in addition to being humble and respectful, some things that you're going to want if you want to, first of all, spar. And like I said, if you're even thinking about competing, you're going to have to spar, and spar often. sparring a lot, at least once a week with different guys, different looks, different weights, different speeds, different power. You just need that. You're going to need to know what it's like to get hit in the face, and you're going to need to have that happen enough to where you say, okay, it's okay. I'm not going to die. And eventually you get comfortable with it. You shouldn't get comfortable with getting hit in the face. I mean, you obviously should try to, keep your hands up and, keep your head on a swivel and keep it moving and try to be elusive, but it's just going to happen. I mean, Lyoto Machida, Izzy Adesanya, there's a million guys that move like snakes out there and you feel like they never get hit. Even Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. Every last one of them gets hit. So, so beyond that, your jiu-jitsu class is going to be specific to the instructor and the class you're taking. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you need for jiu-jitsu class. When you go in, it's totally okay to go in day one and not have any gis, which is like the martial arts robe they wear that's held up by a belt, and then also cloth pants below it. Some classes are no gi, which is like when you see dudes in like fight shorts and rash guards, like what you would wear when you were surfing, basically. It's the same thing. So just ask them what kind of class this is and what do I need, and then go from there. Also, before I get into gear, not every gym is going to be for you. There are big gyms out there, and just because something is big and has good promotion, like for example, if you live next to a UFC gym, there's probably a lot of kids in there, a lot of students. If you go to a Gracie Academy, for example, probably a lot of students. If you go, I live in California, so another big gym out here is the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu Gym, Eddie Bravo's gym. A lot of students there. You might do well in that environment because that is a communal learning environment where you're going to roll with different guys, meaning you're going to grapple or do jiu-jitsu, do wrestling with different guys. And you're going to learn, hopefully, they're not insecure in their own position. Excuse me. And they teach you what they're doing to you and what you can do to stop it or what you can do to reverse it and build off of that. Some people need step by step broken down. Really, this is like me. I need special attention. I'm not afraid to say it. Once something is in here, it clicks and it stays in here forever. But sometimes like somebody will show a technique. Another, guy I train with will get it right off top. He'll get it right away. Right. And it's frustrating to me because I have to sometimes see it. I have to feel it being done to me. I have to watch it being done to somebody else. I have to say, okay, am I doing it right so far and doing it step by step? And it goes back to being humble, right? You have to say, listen, I'm not going to get everything the first time. A lot of this is going to be hard. None of this is going to be second nature. Okay. And, if something does click quickly for you, that's great. But some people need special attention. So understand that if there's a big MMA gym, it's not necessarily the best just because they have the best equipment, the best bags, the highest paid coaches. This guy was an ex-pro. That guy's an ex-pro. This guy used to be famous. That guy's retired from Bellator. Whatever. That's all cool, man. And that's valuable in itself. And you can get knowledge from those guys, and that's great. But some people need more attention. And if that's you, you might want to look for a smaller gym. You might be able to save some money. And you know what? Kicking a pad that's been kicked 1,000 times, that's a little bit raggedy, that doesn't have the coolest logo on it, will do just as good as kicking a brand new pad made by Venom or Adidas or, whatever, Tidal, whatever. It doesn't, or Twins, whatever. You can get it done. A speed bag is a speed bag. A heavy bag is a heavy bag. You can train yourself and become a martial artist and hone your skills with different equipment. Sometimes the guys with the flashiest shit, the coolest equipment, the coolest stuff are trash. Let's just be honest. I've seen it. I've seen kids go in there. You could tell their parents went on the one-stop Amazon, I'm going to be a fighter starter kit. Their kids coming in wearing Venom everything, Hayabusa everything. They got $500 worth of gear. day one fight shorts on, like they're going to compete. They look great and they can't throw a freaking punch. So I've seen it all. What I would say technique wise, and I'm going to get into gear right now, is start low investment, because if you're starting out, you don't know if it's gonna be for you. You might get punched in the face a few times and you might fall out of love with the idea of it. You might fall in love with it, but you don't want to spend all of your money day one on something that you're not sure if you're going to be into. MMA is a great sport, but I say this all the time. It is not for everyone. For the guys out there that say, oh, anyone can do this. No, I'm not saying. I believe that to a certain extent, because any kind of build, any kind of man, woman, any kind of build, any kind of, you're short, you're fat, you're tall, you're skinny, whatever, there's weight classes. So you can learn how to use your body to your advantage. And there's techniques for stocky, small guys with little arms that are all strong. And there's techniques that are really good for really long, gangly guys. And then obviously there's really good techniques for just really powerful, big guys, And then if you're average build, you're average build. So what I would say is that it's friendly for everyone. But the part that I would argue not everyone has is the mentality for it. Again, this is for competing. Anyone can go into an MMA gym and get in better shape and learn how to throw a punch, learn how to throw a knee, a kick, an elbow, whatever, and learn some jiu-jitsu. That's great. And if that's what you want to do, you should do that. I think it's never enough, or it's never invaluable to learn self-defense. I think it's always a good time. You're never too old. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you're 30 years old in a karate class, man. All right, test that 30-year-old if he sticks around for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff is good. But what I would say, day one, the first thing you're going to want, in my opinion, and this is universal, you could take this any MMA school, any MMA class, it's universal, right? So every single class is going to require you to have these boxing gloves. Okay. If you are, I'm going to just say, and this is rough numbers, again, maybe ask your coach, but I would say if you're an adult, if kids is different, kids just ask the coach. If you're a parent and you want to enroll your kid, ask the coach, then go out and buy it. But I would say if you're over 150 pounds, you should have 16-ounce gloves. 16-ounce gloves. These I've had for 5 years, and they're 16-ounce. They're made by Nazo Boxing, which is actually a local store that's, about 30 minutes from my house. But they also make their own stuff. It's good. This has a grip bar right here. That lump right here, you want to look for that in a glove. And you want to look for this. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little extra padding right here. Because in boxing, you don't really need this so much. But in kickboxing, when you're blocking kicks, you use your hands. So you don't want to just take that straight to the wrist or straight to the palm. You want to take this to the pad right here. So that's what you want. And also, lace-up gloves are not bad, guys, but they're just kind of a pain in the ass, if you're going to ask me. Like, you need them for competition. In boxing, and most Muay Thai matches are going to require you to have lace-up gloves. I don't know why. I think it's more tradition than anything else. I think maybe some people are afraid that the Velcro might, cut somebody or whatever. Maybe that's part of it. But for MMA and kickboxing and Muay Thai purposes, you're going to want to pick up some Velcro gloves. Okay. These are, I'm not sure if these are genuine leather. I think they are. I think that they are. I've had them for about 5 years, and I'm finally getting an upgrade because the padding in here is kind of worn out over time. But you're going to want 60. If you're over 150 pounds and you're full grown, or you're in your teens and you're starting to be close to as tall as you're going to get, as heavy as you're going to get, whatever, 16-ounce gloves. And the reason I say that, 2 reasons. One, if you even think about sparring, you shouldn't be sparring with something lower than 16 ounces. I've seen small guys spar with 14s. That's fine. But if you're a big guy, the last thing you want to do in a gym is hurt somebody. Injuries happen. You're going to hurt somebody. There's going to be black eyes. Um, there might be bloody noses. There might be blood, busted lips, stuff like that. That's normal, but you don't want to knock a guy out. When you're training, I know a lot of you guys probably watch UFC and stuff and see guys release footage of them knocking out. When guys are in the elite level competition, when it's getting closer, when they have a fight, a fight coming up and they're about 3 weeks out from that fight, they're going as hard as possible. Some gyms don't believe in this policy, some do. So it depends on where you go, but they believe go as hard as possible because we're going to fight right now. It's no longer sparring. We're going to fight. So that way I'm battle tested going in. And then the last week, I'm just going to get healthy and cut weight. So that's what a lot of gyms do. A lot of gyms, they don't go crazy sparring hard the whole time because they don't want guys to get hurt. It's just different schools of thought. But what I would say is, especially if you're starting out, and especially if you're a big dude, you might have power that you never knew about. You might have never been in a fight in your life. Maybe, you're tired of getting bullied, whatever. And I promise you, sparring is going to feel like enough. You're never going to feel like, you might be down on yourself because you got your ass whooped and you couldn't hit the guy, but you're never going to feel sad that you didn't knock somebody out in your gym. Gosh, I have burps today, dude. You're never going to be sad that you didn't knock somebody out. If that's the feeling you're looking for, compete and don't do it in the gym. You trust me, you land a good shot to the head, the guy you're sparring will let you know. You don't need to fire off 100% all the time. So another way you can help yourself before you know how to regulate your speed and your power and things like that is have a big 16 ounce or 18 ounce. I would say 16 is more universal. I'm finally, like I said, I'm finally upgrading and getting some 18 ounce gloves because, like I said, I am the biggest guy in my gym and I never want to hurt anybody. But these are broken in, and they're going to have on the heavy bag, which burns through gloves faster. And since the cushion is more broken in, I'll be able to condition my they're only going to come out for sparring. They're going to be only sparring gloves, but now makes a really good glove. Don't buy the cheapest one. There's like a $30 glove they sell. That thing is booty. Okay. Any glove for the most part that you buy that's under $50, probably going to just be trash unless it's for kids. But if it's a full size glove, 12 to 18 ounces, you don't want to spend under $40. Okay. Don't go to Big Five and buy some Everlast. Don't go to Walmart and buy some Everlast. That stuff is garbage. It's going to break on you. It's made with horsehair, which cuts guys, which you don't want to do. You don't want to be cutting guys if you hit a guy with the side of your glove, you don't want it to cut their face just because the stitching is garbage. Okay. You want to get this is a nice starter glove. There's a bunch of other brands out there that make affordable gloves when you're starting out. Nazo Boxing is one of them. The gloves I actually just ordered $100 gloves, but they're genuine leather and they're just really high quality. Title makes them, but they're called Fighting. And I got the ones with extra wrist support, not the gel ones, but the regular ones with extra wrist support, fully leather gloves. Synthetic leather, there's nothing wrong with it, but it tends to flake over time when it's synthetic. And if it starts flaking off and like the padding starts showing through, it starts taking on more sweat. It starts, scraping guys, leaving like pink marks on their face if they're white boys, or like whatever, leaving scrape marks. You don't want to do that to your opponents either. So you want your gloves to be, like this, nice, wide gloves with a lot of padding. Just so I can show you what they look like with my hand in them real quick. So my knuckles are maybe right around here. Okay. So even then, these ones have some wear on them. Okay. So, my knuckles again are like right around here. Okay. And I probably have now 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of padding. When I first got them, it probably felt the same, but I can definitely, when I'm punching with these, I can definitely feel my opponent through the gloves. And, I don't want to hurt people. So we ordered some new gloves And as you can see, okay, that answers my question. There's a little flake. You probably can't see that on my shitty camera, but there's a little flake right here coming off on the bottom. That's synthetic leather. I got 5 years out of these. There are good synthetic leather ones, but if it's you never heard of and if it's real cheap, it'll start flaking like that right away. This one, fortunately for me, is flaking in a spot right here where I'm never going to hit anybody with there, or I'm never going to try to hit anybody there, because it's going to hurt my wrist more than it's going to hurt them. So, but yeah, 16-ounce gloves. If you're a big dude, there's all different kinds of gloves. I would highly recommend something with good wrist support. Because the number one thing that people get hurt with when they're beginning in MMA is wrists, wrist injuries, spraining or straining your wrists. Some get hand injuries, but that's most of the time when I see guys get hand injuries, they're hitting the bag with just their hands, or they have just like their raw gloves on, or their little MMA gloves, and they're just going to work on the bag. Yeah, that's a good way to hurt your hand. It's a good way to condition your hand, but in my opinion, there's better ways to condition your hand than that. I mean, sparring is a great way to condition your hand. Putting your hand in rice and forcing it in is a good way to condition your hand. People aren't going to get hurt that way. It's going to suck, but you're not going to get hurt that way. It's good to condition your hands on the heavy bag, but you want to do that carefully once you know how to throw a proper punch, once you know how to make sure your arm and your fists are in alignment, and once you know kind of what you're doing a little bit. So get you some nice 16-ounce or 18 gloves. And if you're a little guy, I guess 14s are fine. But for me, 16-ounce gloves is what you want to get when you're starting out. Now, obviously, let's see here. What do we got in this pocket? Just a towel. Oh, no. So, another thing, guys, you want to get. This is day one. In addition to the boxing gloves, this is day one. A mouth guard, okay? I got the Andre Arlovsky right here. I always thought those canine teeth were badass, but mouth guards. Mold it to your mouth. I've seen guys come in with brand new mouth guards. They whip them out of the box and they throw them in their mouth. It's not going to stick in your mouth. The second you try to talk, it's going to fall out. You want to be able to put this in and it's just going to stay there, okay? I could talk to you like this, and the mouth guard staying in, it's staying on my teeth. So that's something you want to bring in day one. A mouth guard and some boxing gloves. And even if you're not going to spar, it's a good idea to have a mouth guard, just because you might get a wild hair up your ass one day and it's just sparring day and you're just feeling good and you want to test yourself. Oh, shoot, I forgot my mouth guard. Okay. So yeah, let's see what else I got in here. So another thing, shin guards. Shin guards, very important. Another injury that I see a lot is guys hurting their shins. Why? It's all nerves along your shins. It's just bone. There's a layer of skin, there's bone there, and then there's nerves in between. It's skin and nerves. That's it. Skin, nerves, and then bone. Like right below here, it's just bone. So you really want to protect that. You want to get a good shin guard. And here's what I would say makes a good shin guard. If you can try it on first, please try it on first. Because I have monstrous, I don't know if you can see how big my freaking calves are, but not every shin guard is going to fit my calves. My calves are freaking huge. So a lot of the hook and loop ones where you feed it through and then wrap the Velcro back around and it sticks that way, and there's a little loop right here that the Velcro goes through. I don't have enough Velcro to stick it on. It's too small for me. So hook and loop is fine for most people. If you have giant calves, you might need the double strap like I have. So this isn't hook and loop. This is just fuzzy Velcro here, scratchy Velcro here, and it goes around your calf. So that way, no matter how big your calves are, it'll stick around you. Another thing you want to look at is the front of your shin guard. Okay. You don't want it to be too bulky and too pronounced. I think I'm personally a fan of conditioning your shins. One way to do that is wear a shin guard and throw hard kicks. And if it is checked, you're going to feel it, but you're not going to die. Okay. If you throw a kick hard and somebody checks it and no one's wearing shin guards, that is a pain. That is, you can only know what it is after you feel it. And once you feel it, you'll never want to feel it again. Buy good shin guards. Also, you want the shin guards to have good foot protection, okay? Because I have bad feet. I've broken my toe. It flares up. There's an injury I have on one of my, I don't know what it's called, vertebrae or whatever the hell. The bone that goes to my big toe, there's a place that I kick it a certain way and it flares up, and there's nothing I can do. I can barely walk after that. So you want something that covers as much of your foot, if not all your foot, as possible. This, okay, maybe is like 4 inches. This is not cutting it for my size 13. So they were doing a good job for protecting my shin for a while, but they didn't do a good job with my feet. So I just recently upgraded. Okay. And but this is a fine shin guard. What you want to look for in shin guards, don't go online and buy the dumb sock ones. And what I mean by sock one is there's some that are like this in the front, but in the back, it's just a nylon sock. So you just slip it over your leg. Okay. You slip it over your shin and just the sock holds it on. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with it as far as it protecting your shin, which I guess is the bare minimum you want. But what I would say is they start to stink right away, immediately. Like maybe the second or third time you use it, sweat is going to fill up in there. There's nothing you can do. This, okay, leather, okay. So this is what's touching my calf. There's room to air out in here, okay. Doesn't really smell like anything. So and clean your equipment, guys. After every single session, you're going to sweat. Before you go home, put some baby powder in your gloves, put some baby powder on your damn hand wraps, okay, and some baby powder on your friggin' shin guards, okay, because you don't want to let the sweat soak inside of there. Then once it gets wet next time, it's got that nasty BO wet towel smell. Terrible. Don't do it, okay? What else? So you want some shin guards, and don't get the sock type. There is an exception on the sock type. There is a cheap shin guard that's just literally a sock, and it slips over, and it doesn't have a pad here. It has a slim, thin layer of foam. Okay. And they're really cheap. They're like $20. If you bought a shin guard that costs you $20 and you're a grown man, you probably bought this type of shin guard. In Muay Thai competitions, they might require you to wear that type of shin guard because they don't want something that you can potentially put like a piece of like a tack in here or something that could hurt somebody, because there's a good amount of padding in here that you could do sneaky stuff with if you don't want to. The other ones, they do the bare minimum protecting your shins when you kick. So I would say don't do that. You can go on Walmart.com. I've seen RDX and a couple other brands make shin guards that are halfway decent for like $40. Really good ones. Fairtex makes really good ones. If you have smaller calves, I can't wear Fairtex because the hook and loop it's not big enough for me. A lot of really great brands. Hayabusa, but that's expensive. Venom, but that's also expensive. So when I said what I said before, when you start out, don't spend all your money. You don't even know if you're going to be there next month, right? So you don't want to have $300 worth of equipment. Then you're going to try to resell it and get maybe $50 back for everything you bought that you use for a month. Okay. So low investment, and then slowly build your way up to nicer quality shit. So this is what I started out with shin guard wise. And you can see there's like a little layer of extra padding right here. And then, it's a good shin guard. I don't know the brand. I think it was no brand. But now this is what I have. Okay. Now I have Venom. Okay. These are the Venom Elite Gel. These are expensive, guys. These are $120 shin guards. But again, like I said, I needed more foot protection. I mean, look at the difference. Okay. Here's the foot of this one. Here's the foot of that one. Okay. These are lined up perfectly right now. You can see I get 2 more inches out of this foot. And also it's like so much more padding. I actually kind of wish it was a little less padding. It is nice because I have fired off naked kicks, which you should never do. A naked kick is when you just throw a kick. by itself, and so the other guy can check it if he sees it coming. You should always, in my opinion, mix up your strikes and end them with kicks, or if you're going to start a kick, feint something else to at least get them to think that you're not going to throw a kick. Because like I said, if you take a good check to the shin, it's going to suck balls. Okay. So this is, guys, I've had these for like 5 years. I bought them around the same time I bought my gloves. Okay. So I just upgraded to these now. Okay. I've been in this game a long time, and I thought to myself, this is good enough. Okay. Good enough is good enough. All right. Don't get obsessed with buying this type of shit day one. You don't need it. Okay. It's great to eventually aspire to put on your Christmas list, save up for whatever, but don't go crazy day one. You don't even know if you're going to be there. Okay. So later on down the line, I'm lazy. Okay. So this is a lazy man's wrist hand wraps. Okay. A little bit of foam up here and just wraps around your wrist down here for extra wrist support. Okay. I got these. These are fine. They are foam and they will probably end up stinking, and there's nothing I can do about that. They're not leather. They will. If you could see, it's a little bit white because I keep putting baby powder on it to try to preserve them. But they're great because it takes forever to wrap your hands. Even if you've been doing it a million years, it still takes forever to wrap your damn hands. It takes like 15 minutes. I want to get to the gym. I want to put my gloves on. I want to go to work, and I don't want to worry about, I'm going to spend 15 minutes wrapping my hands. But you should have hand wraps, guys. This is cheese. I do it because I'm lazy. Okay. That's the only reason why I do it. They're fine. They get the job done. Good wrist support. But what you should have is hand wraps. Okay. Day one. And this is fighting or not. Day one, hand wraps. Okay. God, look at that. That's terrible. You can tell I haven't used them in a while. Yeah, smell like baby powder. But anyways, PBS Pro. I don't know what the hell that is. It's a hand wrap. Comes with a little Velcro on the end so you can make it stop. And on the other end, there's a little loop that you put one of your fingers through and start wrapping your hands. Before you know how to do it, ask somebody that knows how to wrap hands. They'll either show you or do it for you. These are great. When you're done using these, after I would say about a week, leave them out in a warm, dry place and fully unravel them, because no matter what, baby powder, whatever you do to these things, they will absorb sweat and they will stink. This doesn't stink, but I also haven't worn it in a month, and I'm pretty sure they used to stink. I'm pretty anal about cleaning my equipment, but I got to be honest, bro. I fucking don't clean these too often. Also, if you do machine wash them, don't dry them because they will shrink, and they're not designed to protect your hands if they're shrunk. It won't protect them as good, and they won't last as long. So if you do machine wash it, do it very rarely and hang dry them. Okay. So that's a big deal for that. Okay. Here's the other thing. Get you a cup. I train with guys all the time. Okay. That have been in the game way too long and they don't use cups. Listen, when you're throwing a leg kick, somebody turns a certain way, somebody slides a little bit out of the way. It's not hard to kick somebody in the balls. It happens way more than you think. Especially if you're both, the same, if you're both orthodox or if you're both, southpaw, you're going to throw, anytime you throw an inside leg kick, if you throw it a little bit high, it's going to hit the dong. I mean, it is what it is. Protect your fucking balls, guys. You only get one set your whole life. Okay. You don't want to have a ball hemorrhaged in training, which does happen. Okay. It's a big hospital bill. And then you're not going to be able to, please your girl for a while. You're not going to be able to please yourself for a while. And your life's going to suck. And you might not be able to have kids the rest of your life if it's bad enough. So wear a freaking cup. These things cost like $20. You can get the chonies for them that have a little front pocket that you just slip it in the front pocket. Another $15. Invest in a fucking cup. Protect your balls, guys. Okay. This is specific to MMA. So if you're in Muay Thai, you don't need this. If you're in Jiu-Jitsu, you probably don't need this. If you're in MMA and you're thinking about competing, you should get these type of fighting gloves. Okay. And these ones are made by Sanibel, which is a big company. They make all kinds of fight equipment. It's an MMA glove. You can see there's the loops here for all my fingers to go through. Why don't I just put it on for you? Okay. Double Velcro, triple Velcro, excuse me. So you get that super good wrist support, which you need because this thing's cuff isn't very long. It's kind of short up on the hand, right? So you get a hand free. Okay. Fucking up my mic over here. Okay. You get a hand free. You're able to grapple. You're able to grab. Okay. Got range of motion a little bit with the wrist. What I like about these is they have padding. If you look at the end, here's my knuckles right here. You got, I would say, about 1.5 inches of padding here, which is good, guys, because guess what? There's a lot of guys out here that show up to MMA class sparring in these, guys. Okay? Sparring in these. These are competition only. Okay? These are when you're trying to kill people. You're not going to do anything or learn any faster or do anything in class, okay, with these bad boys that look at the padding. That's it. There's nothing there, okay? Look at this. Look at the difference. You can see the difference here, okay? Lots of padding here, not much padding here, okay? This is just to clobber somebody, take them out. There's some stiff padding in here, but it's very thin, and they're going to feel everything and you're going to feel everything. So you want to hurt your wrists or put your wrists in danger. You want to hurt your knuckles, put your knuckles in danger, and put your training partners in danger, which I wouldn't recommend doing. I guess sparring these, but I would strongly recommend against it. Sparring something like this. Venom makes some really good ones. I think the Venom ones, in my opinion, are a little bit too padded and they limit your range of motion. But I would rather have too much padding in an MMA training glove than not enough padding and be able to have better motion. That's just me. I didn't even put my thumb through. But yeah, get something with padding because, like I said, you shouldn't even be sparring in under 16-ounce boxing gloves. But if you're going to be doing MMA sparring takedowns, it's hard to. And you're going to do grappling as well. If you're going to simulate matches and do full MMA sparring, you're going to want something like this so you can really grab your opponent. If you take them down, you're going to want to be able to grab limbs, grab an arm bar, grab whatever, grab a head, grab your own arm if you're pulling guillotine, whatever. You want something where you can move your fingers and your fingers are free, but you also want something that's not going to fucking bludgeon your opponent, okay? When I wear these, I'm very careful with how I throw. Okay. I don't throw for power. I throw for volume and I throw for speed, and there's nothing on it. I don't step into or sit down on any of my punches when I'm throwing with these because I don't want to hurt people. So, yeah, these are great. These are specific to MMA training. If you're doing Muay Thai, doing kickboxing, don't worry about it. You don't need these, but these are great if you're thinking about competing in the cage and you want to get full MMA sparring. Okay. By the way, these cost about $30, okay? Mouth guard, $20. These about 30. Boxing gloves, 50 to 100, I would say. And then the last thing, well, I don't have headgear. I hate headgear. I hate wearing it. I just ordered some. It's going to be my first pair of headgear ever. I friggin' hate it. My gym has some, so if I wanted some, I could wear some whenever. So I never bought some, but I just hated headgear. But a lot of people have jobs. A lot of people have lives. They can't be going home to their spouse or going to work every day with their boss and have a black eye or a busted face or whatever. So you want to eliminate as much damage. There's going to be damage no matter what, but you want to eliminate as much of that as possible. And also too, somebody catches you good in the side of the head. It doesn't matter what kind of glove you have. If they really stepped into it and they landed, you're going to feel it. You might get your bell rung, Most guys that have been in the sport long enough have been concussed. And if they say they haven't, they're lying. Okay. So you might as well put there's cushion in the glove, put cushion on the head, man. You only get one life, you only get one brain. So protect yourself. And there's a lot of good, cheap, I was just on walmart.com where I ordered mine. RDX makes some really good headgear. I think I might have bought Tidal. I don't know, but you can get good headgear for like 35, 40 bucks. That stuff, you just worry about the padding really and how it secures on your head. Okay. You want something that has good Velcro in the back, maybe a 2-strap system so you can really adjust it, and a good, and a good something that goes under your chin to keep it on your head nice and tight. That's the main thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be full grain leather or $100 headgear. It's just there to protect you. And if it starts flaking or whatever, who cares? Okay. As long as the padding is there protecting your noggin, that's what really matters. You don't really need to go all out on headgear. That's my opinion on it. Some guys may be like, oh no, I have to have the Hayabusa or Venom, 26,000 headgear that costs 300 bucks. Okay, man, do whatever you're going to, if it's in your budget, buy the best shit. I don't care. But to me, $25 headgear is going to be just as good as, $100 headgear. There might be some difference. Definitely the $100 one's going to look way cooler, but I don't care about any of that. I'm just here to talk about protecting your noggin. Okay. So headgear's on its way. That would be the last thing I have to say. And here's the other thing. Don't get down on yourself. Don't get down on yourself. In jiu-jitsu, in Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, whatever. When you're stepping into the gym for the first time, you're not going to be the best guy. You're not going to be the second best guy. You're probably going to be the worst guy. And that's okay. Everybody started from somewhere, okay? But just know, as long as you learn something, at least one thing every single time you go in, you're getting better and better and better. And I promise you this, I have seen guys come into the gym looking like they have 2 left feet, 0 coordination, can't throw a 2-punch combo. Okay, they throw a 1-2 and it looks like they're trying to catch a fly, okay? And if they just keep showing up, they get better, they get better, they get better. I'm not saying they're going to be the best. I'm not going to say you're going to go pro. But the guys that do go pro, what they all have in common is they keep showing up. Those are the guys that keep coming. The guys that I've seen guys that get to a point, they're top dog in the gym, they're beating everyone's ass when it's sparring day, and then they start coming once a week, they start coming twice a month, once a month. All of a sudden, the guys that they were beating up a year before are whooping their ass. And it's not even, they're not even using max effort. They're just technically better. So don't get down on yourself. I've made that mistake before. I've got pissed at myself. I get so frustrated sometimes. It's just like, oh, why can't I get this technique? Why can't I land anything on this guy? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? It's okay. It's part of the process. MMA is a journey, okay? It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. You're there for the long haul. If you're a kid, if you're a teen and you're just starting out, it's going to take some time. But I promise you this, you keep showing up, stuff's going to keep clicking. You're going to gain more respect. You're going to gain more self-confidence, and you're going to gain more skills. And you're going to know when's the right time to employ them and when's not the right time to employ them. So just keep showing up and keep being respectful and keep being humble. And if you compete, beat some motherfuckers down, dude. You know what I'm saying? But if not, just get in good shape and maybe you know how to fight now in case somebody tries you, All right, bro. Most trash show on YouTube. I know I haven't been active. I've been waiting on guests. People have busy lives. They can't come through. They say they're going to come through. They forget to text me. I don't, I call them. They're like, oh, I forgot, whatever. I'm going to have more people on, but I'm going to just try to be consistent by myself if I need to be. Just keep the channel going for all, 20 eyeballs that watch my videos. So if you have any questions about MMA and starting your training journey, leave them in the comments. And if I know, I'll try to answer them. I've been in some kickboxing smokers, and I've been in the cage a couple times as an amateur. So I have some knowledge, and I love the sport. I watch the sport. I do the sport. I participate. I'm in the community. I love it. So yeah, my coach, who's a former pro Muay Thai guy, he might still be pro. I'm not sure, but he's obviously my Muay Thai coach. He's going to come in and do an interview, and yeah, we're just trying to work out a day. So we're really going to get into the juicy details about striking and his journey and what his whole philosophy is. So if that's interesting to you, man, give me a like, subscribe, whatever. If not, it's already the most trash show on YouTube. I can't go down from here. You know what I'm saying? We're trash. It's Garage Goons, episode 27. We're out. Okay? End the fucking stream. We're out.